Zohar HaKadosh and the Kitvei Ari say about the sin of getting angry. He says, when you read that stuff, Tismar Sa'arot Enosh, your hairs will stand up from how intense it is. And from the fact you see how severe it is, you understand how a person has to guard himself tremendously for not falling into the sin of anger. It's very well known that during the time of Shovavim, of the set when they read Sefer Shemot, people work on the sin of Zer Levatala, and they know that's the common. The Rizal said the tikkun for to fix the sin of Zer Levatala is to fast 84 fasts. That everybody knows. But if you look in the list of sins and how many fasts each sin requires in the Arizal's writings, you will see that he writes for the sin of anger, he writes you need to have over 200 fasts. It's actually more fasts are needed to do tikkun for this that a person who got angry than actually Zer Vatala. So it's very, very intense. And the Arizal writes, and the Chida explains also, that when a person gets angry, notice how he acts like an animal. He does things that he would normally never do, and he's enraged, and he does things without thinking. Most of the time, people after they calm down, they say, "Wow, I did that. How did I do that? It's so not me. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I actually did that. I don't know what was going through my mind." And it explains this phenomenon. Why? How does this work? He says because when a person gets angry, the way it works is because getting angry is such a foreign thing. It's supposed to be that we believe that Hashem is the one who runs our world, and He's the one who's Pratit, and therefore He made everything, single detail perfect, and we're supposed to be here at this moment to exactly this situation. And for a person to get angry and not accept it, his neshama doesn't handle it. His neshama actually leaves his body, and the Arizal says you get nefesh ba'amit. You get a different soul that is an animalistic soul. And therefore, people act like animals when they're angry because they just swap their soul for animalistic soul. So it comes out, and that's why you act like an animal. And he says, when you do this, when your soul leaves you and you get this nefesh ba'amit, he says that's when you lose all kedusha. He says, for example, let's say a guy has a streak, right? He goes to mikveh every day, he goes and learns every day, he goes and prays every day, and he's building on his holiness. He's building on his kedusha. Another tefillah, another learning, another mitzvah, another holiness. He's a very holy person. He says once he gets angry, all the kedusha he built for all those times that he was learning and praying, all this, he just lost it all. You start from zero again. Your streak just ended, and now you're in a very low spiritual state that you have to start building yourself again, because this is the power of getting angry, that it just takes away all your kedusha, and you lose your neshama temporarily. And he says that to do the fixing for this sin that a person gets angry, he has to do over 200 fasts. So he says when you hear these things, it's not to put you depressed and put you down. It's supposed to make you put yourself together and bolster yourself and say, hey, this is very bad. I don't want to fall in this. Whenever I have something like irking me or something's happening not according to plan, I have to hold myself from getting angry. He says the person has the number one thing he has to work on when he gets angry is not to say anything. There's different levels of getting angry. There's one level of getting angry and spitting out or whatever is on your mind and doing actions and breaking stuff. The Gemara says that a person who gets angry to the point when he brought to break something is as if he served idols. Why is that? It's because when you don't accept that Hashem, He runs the Hashgacha Prati, He has divine providence and puts you in this situation, and you say, hey Hashem, I don't like what you put me in this situation. This is no good for me. I know better. You're saying to Hashem as if He doesn't know how to run His world. As if you're saying, I know what's better for me. This situation is not good for me. So therefore, as if you're not believing in Hashem, it's as if you believe in a different God, as if you believe in some other plan. It's a Vodazara, God forbid. So, he says the person has to work on, when he's angry, not to say anything. To hold his mouth back, because a lot of times it fuels and does a lot of damage when he speaks when he's angry. And he says he has to fan the flames, and remember that the Pasuk says in Iyov, Tole Eretz al Blima. Hashem withholds the earth on its blima. What's blima? The Gemara learns it means really Zeh Shem Bolem Piv. The world exists for the zuchur of the one who holds his mouth in a time of fight, in a time of anger. So therefore we have to learn from the sun. The sun and the moon, they were both the same size, and the moon complained. And the sun didn't say anything. Even though, one of them is going to be smaller, it can't be two kings with the one crown. The sun didn't say anything, he was happy with whatever happened, and he ended up being that he kept what he had. And the moon, because he complained and he fought, he's the one who lost. So you see then a person has to be like the son, and even though there's an argument, the person has to be quiet. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will fight my fight. If I deserve it, I'll get it. What does it help to put people down and to yell and to curse, God forbid, and to show, quote unquote, who's boss? And at the end of the day, what a person is supposed to get, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give him. He says, a person has to work on not getting angry in his mind. Another level is not to say anything, even in your mind, not to get angry. There's people who hold themselves, but they're fuming. And there's a person who, even inside, he can get to a level where he's not angry at all when it happens. He says the person has to realize, why would you want to get angry to this guy? Because he did something bad to you, right? He's doing something bad to you, so I have to do bad to him back. I have to get angry at him. You have to realize, when you get angry, you're doing bad to yourself. You're losing so much kedusha. You're gonna have to do tikkun. You're gonna do so many things you regret. So just like you're upset at him that he's doing bad, you should really be upset at yourself if you let yourself get upset, because you're doing bad to yourself. So be also to realize everything's for a reason. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in charge, and we should also not to get angry. Baruch